Okay, so let's continue with and at the conversion fluoroscopy. Now let's look at the digital fluoroscopy. What's the setup of the conversion fluoroscopy, whereby we saw that it just has an X-ray tube, then maybe some components, filter and what, and then the patient's table, plus the image intensifier, and then the TV camera, plus the television monitor. So fluoroscopy, what makes digital fluoroscopy really different from conversion? It's not too much. Um, it's just about the setup or the fluoroscopic equipment, and then we also have somehow receiving a digital image, which meaning that we have a digital signal that can be stored within the computer, and later on we can retrieve. Okay, because you know that for data to be stored in a computer, it has to be digitized and then stored. Then later on, if we want to display it, we can always convert it from digital to analog, and then we can display it. Which case is not in the conversion fluoroscopy. So for conversion fluoroscopy, we saw that we would just have the receiver, maybe that is the image intensifier, amplifies the overall brightness of the image by amplifying the signal, and then sent to the TV camera or TV tube, and then to the TV camera, and later on for display. Um, Unless we would want to do some storage, we would um, maybe use the spot films, but still they will not give us digital images, or we could not have that permanent storage, which we can always try to review later on, even when the patient has gone. So basically, that is the main difference. When you look at this image here, this is a setup of fluoroscopic system, digital fluoroscopic system. We can see that this is the patient table, and then this is the image intensifier. And the image intensifier can be replaced by the flat panel image receptor. Now that can only happen in the digital. And then you can see that the digital, we no longer have the TV camera. We have the CCD, which is a charge coupled device. It has the ability to bring out a digital signal and or an electronic signal. And at some point, we can replace the entire image intensifier and the CCD with a flat panel image receptor, making the overall setup really very, very simplified. And most of the displays are flat panels, full screen. This is available within the room for the radiologist to use. Then we can have our signal being digitized. That is, if we want it to be stored within the computer. Okay, so the signal will be stored in the memory, and later on, if you want it for display, you can always convert it back to analog and we display it. So digital fluoroscopy is a digital X-ray imaging system that produces dynamic images obtained with an area X-ray beam. And most of the dynamic images of the digital fluoroscopy, they are of really good quality. First, the mainly the contrast, the resolution, all those are going to be very good because at the end, we are going to see that the CCDs and the flat panel detectors are made up of the pixels. And at the point of manufacturing and also purchasing, we can really determine what do we really want. because the final resolution is highly dependent upon the pixel size of that particular system you're buying. So the difference between conversion fluoroscopy and digital fluoroscopy is the nature of the image and the manner in which it is digitized. Just as you have a screen film radiography, and then you get to digital. First, to digital is it has a computer, and then it also has the total, or the total, digital radiography. So realize that those ones are far different from just the screen film radiography. So the equipments of digital fluoroscopy, like I've said, they are very, very different from those ones of conversion fluoroscopy. And since that we can do a lot at the image, or about the image, normally these ones, they have so many setups of monitors, okay? Because now with conversion fluoroscopy, we can do what we call the post-processing. We can always adjust the image qualities after retrieving them, or even before storage. We can always adjust the parameters, or maybe the contrast is not good, or maybe we want to truncate off some areas. We can always do it in the digital fluoroscopy. So that's why you see that the consoles in the operating room, they are going to be a little bit many compared um, to the conversion fluoroscopy. Okay, and with digital fluoroscopy, we can really do a lot of exams. Like for example, in conversion fluoroscopy, it's really very hard to do the intervention fluoroscopy of intervention imaging, whereas for digital, we are capable of doing that. And the other difference is that for conversion, it is mainly continuous fluoroscopy, like the beam is on throughout. Okay, whereas for digital fluoroscopy, we can have both the continuous mode and what we call the pulsed mode. But the pulsed mode is more, okay, is more preferred because it highly reduces on the patient's dose. The pulsed means that the radiologist will only turn on the exposure when needed. Okay, maybe you can say that for this millisecond or this time, let it be on, then I can switch it off. Okay, then like that, or I can do very, very short exposures. At the end, it's going to reduce the overall dose received by the patient. But even that it is a digital equipment, even though it is continuous mode, the dose received in the continuous mode will be lower compared to when we're in the continuous mode in the conversion fluoroscopy. One, we said that most of the digital equipments are really sensitive. Okay, when we say sensitivity, it means that they even pick up the lowest dose, which is not in the conventional modes. Okay. So you see, like you get to see that the appearance of the conversion fluoroscopic equipment and the digital fluoroscopic equipment makes the biggest difference between these two. And then you can add on the nature of digitizing the image. We can have a digital image, and then for dose, there is a reduction in dose when it comes to the digital fluoroscopy. So I've talked about continuous fluoroscopy, whereby the beam is going to be on throughout the start of the exam to the end. But when it comes to digital fluoroscopy, in most cases, the digital fluoroscopy is operated in pulsed fluoroscopy or pulsed mode. So pulsed means like the way we had pulsed ultrasound. It means that the beam is not on throughout. It is on when required and then off. Or we can do progressive short bursts of exposures, meaning that you create some time difference in between the exposures. So by doing that, we are decreasing on the overall exposure to the patient and also to the radiologist. Okay, so during the digital fluoroscopy, the under-table X-ray tube actually operates in the radiographic mode. Then, yeah, like we said, we can still have the radiographic mode and then we can still have the fluoroscopic mode. So the tube current is measured in hundreds of milliamperes instead of less than 5 milliamperes as in image intensifying fluoroscopy. Then the pulsed